What is the perfect way to sit in your chair? If you work at a desk for a living, then this video is going to be exactly for you. And even if you don't, if you travel a lot or you spend a lot of time sitting, then you need to make sure that you're putting your body in the best position to avoid any further issues down the line. I am Dr. Jeremy Andrews, a doctor of chiropractic here at West Chiropractic in Surrey. I'm going to tell you exactly how you need to sit today to ensure you're not putting any pressure through your spine. So who is this aimed at? Like I said, if you sit for a living, if you're working at a desk for most of the day, then you're probably finding that you are going to have some problems in your back or in your neck at some stage. Most of us work from around 20 to 25 years of age, and we go all the way through into our 60s. Now, by the time some of us get there, that retirement age may have been pushed up even further. So it's very important that if you're sitting for 30 to 40 years, that you're doing it in the right position. So let me start by showing you a couple of tips to make sure you never get any chronic back issues, putting pressure on your disc, and try and avoid sciatica where you can. Okay, so you can see I'm sitting on a swivel chair here. Now this is for demonstration purposes. These are pretty good when you're sitting at a desk, especially if you're there for 9, 10, 11, 12 hours each day. So a couple of tips that will really help when you're sitting at your desk. So the main thing is you want to make sure the back is nice and upright. You know, you can get those chairs that go all the way back and those sort of nice lazy ones where you can sit down, have a little snooze when no one's watching. You really want to make sure you're not doing that. So you need to make sure the back is upright and supported. This is going to allow you to push your shoulder blades back in to keep it nice and extended like this and give a good strong core support through here. Now, the other thing here, you can probably see my knees are going to be lower than my hips. So you need to make sure that the chair can go up and down depending on how tall you are. You see with this one here, can't put it up any higher. But if I was to go down, then you can see that my knees, they're actually higher than my hips. Now what that's going to do is going to drive a lot of force into the base of my spine. It's going to cause flexion of the lumbar spine as well. Now flexion is not what we want. What I mean by flexion is bending forwards like that. So when you bend forwards like this, it's going to compress the disc. And I'll show you on a disc in a second what I mean. So remember, bring that all as high up as you can to make sure it's nice and comfortable. So you can start to see now I've got two adjustable elements to my chair. I've got the height, but I've also got the extension. On the dining room chair, you haven't got either of those options. You can prop it up with cushions, but it's really important you do have that flexibility and versatility to be able to move the chair around. So these office chairs, they're not expensive. You can get them on Amazon for 40, 50 pounds, and they're going to provide a lot of support. So I know it's not cheap, but if you're thinking you're going to be sitting there for the next, 5 years, 10 years, we're all working from home now a lot of the time as well. Good to invest in a proper chair to make sure you're getting the best for your back long term. So first 2 points covered. We've got the back support and then we've got the height of the chair. You also want to make sure that your feet are shoulder width apart, and you also need to make sure that your head is in a good position. So if I'm looking at a screen which is here, I want to make sure that my head is tucked in, and I need to make sure I'm sitting perfectly like this. The other key thing as well is to make sure that your arms are retracted. What happens to a lot of people is they start to develop shoulder tension, neck problems, headaches, dizziness, blurred vision, sometimes pins and needles in the fingers because there's a lot of tension on the upper back. So they get everything right on the bottom here, core is strong, tight, but the shoulders aren't in a good position and they're like this, that can often put a lot of pressure across the top of the shoulders, causing pain around these areas. So we need to make sure we're retracting those shoulder blades, keeping the head in the best position to take as much stress off there as we can. So 4 things. Back support first. Height of the chair, feet flat on the floor, chin tucked back in, shoulders retracted like this, keyboard nice and tight. So this would be if we're sitting at a desk. Now, what if we're sitting on the sofa at home? Well, if we're sitting on the sofa at home, then automatically our spine is going to move into a flexed position because there's not enough support on a sofa. Doesn't matter if you've got a firm sofa, doesn't matter if you've got a light sofa. You need to make sure you're getting your back in the best position. So we sit on sofas usually like this. Now, what that's going to do, can you look at my pelvis? If my pelvis is like this, extended, but like this, start to get flexion. Now we flex over like this. I want to show you what happens with the spine. This is your spine here. So these are the white bits of the two vertebrae. The bit in the middle is the disc. Okay, they see this red bit here. Yellow bits, those are the nerves. And then these knobbly bits you feel are on the back. You can feel those on your spine if you just run your hand up and down your spine. So we need to make sure we're keeping this in the best shape. Now, when you sit, what's going to happen is this happens. Okay, so you get flexion of the joints. Trying to show you the best I can. Flexion like this. So the back gets longer, but what it's going to do, it's going to press onto the disc. So if you can see here, we sit, it does this. You see that bulge? Now that's not going to happen just off the first time sitting.
It is going to put a lot of pressure. So you see how that pressure starts to go into the back of the disc? So that's normal, pressure on the disc. Normal, pressure on the disc. And over time, eventually, you are going to get some sort of material coming out of the disc if you do it too long. Because that lovely fibrous part of the disc around there gets very weak. The body can't use it as well, and it starts to put pressure on there. So we need to make sure keeping that in the best position. Okay, so good strong core, keeping the pressure off the disc so it can extend like that. Allow that disc to breathe and distribute the shock normally.
Okay, perfect. So there you have it. Those are my top tips for when you're sitting at a desk. If you are going to sit on a sofa, as I said, you want to make sure you're not slouching too much. So trying to put yourself up, prop yourself up with cushions on the back to make sure those shoulders are retracted. That's going to really help. I actually prefer lying down on the sofa. The reason that lying down is good is it's going to decompress your spine. It's going to mean there's no force from the shoulders and the head going through the spine and elongate everything through there. That's a lovely way to make sure you're taking pressure off those areas. If you are struggling to lie down because you might have a neck issue and you don't want to turn your head to the side, then also you can put yourself on the floor and prop yourself up against the sofa like that. You've got the hard floor there, either it's carpet or hardwood, and that's going to allow the body to get a good bit of resistance through the spine. You're going to have your back flat against the sofa. It's going to really help take a lot of pressure off those. Thank you so much. If you like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe for regular updates. We're releasing 2 valuable tips videos every single week. And also, if you head over to Amazon in the link below, you can grab a copy of my best-selling book, The Secret Cure to Back Pain, How to Avoid a Lifetime of Painkillers and Surgery. Many thanks. Speak to you soon.